Is today like Static Sunday or some kind of electric holiday I did not know about on TCGO? Because I was like, you know what, I'm going to surprise you guys anyway and get you a really good game with Archeops. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. But then I kept running into electric decks and I was like, I hate having type disadvantage or advantage all the time because then it makes it look like a stupid game. But I've uploaded games where I've had type disadvantage in the past. So I guess we can put one on the other side of the scale, you know, have ourselves a nice little easy game on Sunday afternoon. It says he has the advantage anyway for whatever reason, so I'm feeling a little bit intimidated right off the bat. Plus, you know, I kind of reveal what my deck structure is to him. Actually, no, I don't, because I don't mulligan on this one. The danger with this deck is because it doesn't run a lot of basic Pokemon, you run the risk of, you know, showing off a mulligan. But right now, all he sees that I have out is a Cleffa, which is just a very generic card to have in any deck. It's very handy. It doesn't reveal my deck structure at all just yet. So my battle plan right here is I want to, well, he can't kill me off with Thundurus right on the first turn. Thundurus needs 3 energies to attack. He can kill me off next turn if he has an energy right now and he chooses to use Charge. But he's going to go for the Pokemon Collector. And the thing is right now is like everything he's putting out is weak to fighting. But he chooses not to start building up Thundurus. His hand is kind of shit just like mine. But he does put a double colorless on it. So the instant he puts a electric energy on it, he'll be good to, you know, start attacking. But he's going to eke out for a new hand because his hand sucks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the Pokemon Collector here, get my my basics in play, the ones that I do have in this deck. I'm only running 2 Landorus and 3 Terrakion because Retaliate's really handy, and I don't want to run too many Landoruses just because Kyurems are floating around too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an energy on Terrakion, that way I can have it ready to retaliate as soon as possible if I decide to eke up some fighting energy, or if my deck decides to do that. I get a Plume Fossil right now. I get 2 Plume Fossils. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use them in tandem until I actually manage to pull out an Archon. Because I want to shut down those electrics as soon as possible. He doesn't see that I have this stuff, but just based on the fact that I'm running Landorus and Terrakion, he could probably have an inkling on what I'm trying to do. And the thing is the electrics are the only things that evolve in this deck. So if I can get my Archeops in play before then I should be fine. You know, this energy he discards, but Thundurus, he won't be able to get it back. So I'm going to go for the Plume Fossil. I do not pull an Archon. I'm like, okay, I'll go for another one. And I see 2. So, you know, it doesn't really matter how many Plume Fossils I end up using as long as I'm able to get an Archon onto the bench. I'm going to use the research record on the off chance that there's an Archeops at the top. I know Clef is going to end up shuffling out my hand anyway. But I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it, because when you use Cleffa's Eek, you don't draw the hands that you arranged with Research Record. You just end up, you know, doing that. But I'm going to go ahead and decide that I do want to hang on to that catcher, so I'm going to send in Tyrogue. Now, this is a nice multi-purpose thing I have going on, because if I wake up and he decides to kill me off, I can retaliate the fuck out of him with Terrakion next turn and put an energy on that. And I also get a catcher, so I can draw out the Tynamos and take out the electrics if they decide to evolve, or if he decides to evolve. And he gets 1 into play right before my Archeops gets in play, which is really troublesome. Now, I didn't actually think he would catch her in my my fucking Terrakion right now. I thought he would try to catch her in the Archon, so he'd be able to evolve those you know, those Tynamos, you know, take it out so he can get it safely, because these decks they tend to run like 2 or 3. But he's going to go for the PCOM, and then, you know, he's evolving this shit right underneath my nose. Look at that. The turn I get Archon out, you know, he recognizes what the fuck's up, and he decides to just evolve everything. I'm like, oh, that is so annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put down Terrakion, another Terrakion rather, and start building that guy up. And I'm going to catcher out one of those electrics, and then right here, I think I'm going to go for the Professor Oak, just to hopefully get a switch in play or something like that, maybe an Archeops or a PCOM, something like that. And now I get my Archeops, which is 1 turn too late, because everything he has out is already evolved. But I'm going to hit him with a Retaliate nonetheless. I know it won't kill him, I just want to get some damage off on it. And because it doesn't have any energy on it, he'll have to put some in order to retreat it out. I've seen a DCE on his Thundurus, so he's probably running 1 or 2 more, and he does have another one. So he puts it on the electric, withdraws it, and is going to take me out with a Disaster Volt. Bad and good news, because, you know, I lose out on one of my Terrakions, but I do have 2 more. Good news in that Retaliate on this Terrakion is now powered up, and I'm able to use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Retaliate the hell out of his Thundurus, deal 180 damage to it, and then just get that shit out of there. So looking pretty good. If this Thundurus wants to try to get built up for whatever reason, I have more energies, and I can just keep land crushing everything in play. The biggest threat on the field right now is Zekrom. since with a Bolt Strike and a plus power, you know, he can do some good damage. Bolt Strike will not be able to OHKO anything on the field that isn't a baby, mainly because Landorus does have 110 HP, but does have the resistance to electricity, so he'll need a plus power. He's 10 shy of killing everything that isn't a baby on the field, so I'm still looking pretty good in that aspect. And it's not that I have an electric immunity to anything. The only thing that does is Landorus, where there's a electric resistance going on there. But rather than put another energy on the Terrakion, I decide to Junk Arm out the Archon and the Plume Fossil, and I'm going to go for the catcher just, you know, to try to piss him off, disrupt him a little bit. Now, I'm thinking about whether or not I want to get the Zekrom or if I want to get the Electrics. And I decide that the best thing I need to do is to get the Electrics out. I decide to get the fresh one. That way, I still have Tyrogue on my bench who does 30 damage. That'll be enough to clean out the other Electric in case this Terrakion isn't able to do the job for whatever reason. So he sends in his Thundurus, and Thundurus does have a fighting resistance, so that's why you run it in this deck. So you can load it up with electric energies and then use Hurricane to move him onto the bench to get something, you know, kind of like a little tag team 1-2 thing going on. But he's going to hit me for 80 damage with Hurricane, and, you know, I've cut his efficiency in half because he's, you know, he's lost a bit of energy, but he can only get one of them out at a time as opposed to two. And because I have Archeops in play, he can't set up another one. He can get a Dynamo on the bench, but he won't be able to use it. So right here kind of tells me that he's really trying to set up another electric. Like, he's either low on energy or he just doesn't want this thing around. Like, I find it kind of funny. Plus, I top deck a switch, so that is a huge, colossal fuck you to anything that Tornadus wanted to do. So I'm going to put an energy on the Terrakion, go ahead and get it out of there, and then I am just going to eke up for a new hand, I believe. So we'll see what I can get into. If I can get into a catcher or a Junk Arm, that'll be fantastic. And I do draw a catcher, so that means one of the 3 things that are weak to electric on his bench are toast. Now, I do have 3 prizes and 3 electric weeks, so I'm just going to need some catchers and some Junk Arms. I do have, I think I have 3 catchers and 4 Junk Arms, and I think I might have only used one of my Junk Arms at this point, so I'm still looking pretty good. But the thing is he's not trying to kill off my Terrakions or anything. He is desperately trying to kill off this Archeops just so he can get another one in play. And I find this really funny because that's the only thing that evolves, but it's the key player in this deck in order to getting energy out, because otherwise you can only get 1 energy out from your hand. So, with 2 Hurricanes, Archeops is going to go down, but on the other hand, it does power up my Retaliate yet again, and because I do have a catcher, it's going to be fantastic. So I'm going to send in this Terrakion. I value the other one a little bit more because it has more energy on it at the moment, but I do have another energy in my hand, so I'm not too worried. Gonna catcher in that Zekrom, and because Retaliate is boosted to 90, if something got killed, it'll do 180, which is definitely enough to knock out the Zekrom. And my prize card is a Junk Arm, so not really too lucky with the Archeops, but I'm definitely making up for it in terms of what I happen to be drawing into in terms of the switch and everything else. But he's going to go ahead and go for the Hurricane, deal 80 damage, and what I can do right here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to Junk Arm out a Pokemon Collector and a Pokemon Collector and Communication, because I can't calm out anything in my hand. I think if I tried to use Collector, I wouldn't end up doing anything, but I go for the catcher. And then I decide to that I'm going to go ahead and take out that that electric with the Retaliate. Now, if I had a switch, what I would have done is I would have switched out the Terrakion, gone out to Tyrogue to finish the job. And if I woke up, he would have killed that off, and then that would have powered up the Retaliate on this guy again. But does he kill me off? I think he kills me off with that Hurricane. So that just powers up another Retaliate, and I do have this last catcher in my hand, so I can just get the Tornadus out of the way and then, you know, bring in Zekrom or something like that. So this is how type advantage can come into play. You know, he didn't actually do any direct attacks to me, to my Landorus. I didn't want that thing out anyway, because Terrakion's a little bit handier in this situation with all the retaliating and stuff going on. But it's still looking pretty good. He kind of takes a little while to take this last prize, but I'm going to put down the Terrakion, and because I have a catcher, that is going to be a quick and I guess somewhat decent game for a Sunday morning, so I hope you guys enjoyed. I have a family function to go to later this afternoon, so I figured, what the hell, we'll render this while I shave and get ready, you know, do that kind of stuff. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be trying to get more games later on with this. It wasn't really the most efficient thing, but you saw rather that he kind of took Archeops as a little bit of a threat because he kept trying to catch it out in order to get more electric set up. But, you know, because of those powerful basics, they kind of shut him down relatively quickly. So that'll do it for Sunday's video. I'll probably get back and try to record some more just to have some stuff for you ready to go later this week. And I will not be here for the remainder of the evening, so I suppose leave me some nice comments and stuff. Those would be fantastic to read when I get back. Or if I can access their Wi-Fi with my iPod, I can kind of read them through my email and stuff. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.